program on creative thinking.
Let us recall the old story of the thirsty crow. On a windowsill, the thirsty crow spotted a pitcher of water. He sat next to the pitcher and put his beak in. But the water was way down and he could not reach the water. What did the crow do? Did he give up and stay thirsty and miserable? Break the pitcher and lose the water? Find a way and drink the water. The crow found a way. He spotted a pile of stones. He picked up one stone at a time and dropped them into the pitcher till the water came up. He had his drink of water. Creativity is not exclusive to artists, designers, architects or musicians. The mechanic on the shop floor, the scientist in the lab, the policymaker, the chef in a restaurant are all employing creative thinking in their work. This program will help you understand creative thinking, the need for creative thinking in the corporate sector, how to create an atmosphere to promote creative thinking, the process of creative thinking, and a few basic tools to develop creative thinking in the individual and the team. 4 dimensions of creativity: creation, productivity, originality, and expressiveness. The courage to take risks and persistence are the key characteristics of the creative person. The other characteristics are repeated patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. Click on What is creative thinking to understand the concept. In this module, we will look at what constitutes creative thinking. It is an ability, an attitude, a process. Creative thinking is an ability. In 1970, 3M worked on developing a strong adhesive, but the new adhesive was weaker. The new adhesive was easily removable. Another scientist used this adhesive on paper to mark his books. The result was the Post-its. Creative thinking is an ability. It is the ability to do things differently, to think of new solutions or approaches to problems, adapt existing methods to new situations, convert failures to success. The inventor of the printing press saw his people using a manual press to extract olive oil. Johann Gutenberg recognized another application, and thus was born the printing press. Creative thinking is an attitude. Be able to accept new situations or circumstances. Be willing to think outside the usual. Creative thinking accepts that there are several possibilities to a product or concept. Creativity is a process. The work on the light bulb started in 1878. Between 1878 and 1880, Thomas Edison and his friends worked at least 3,000 theories to develop the light bulb. Creative thinking is a process. Creative thinking is not a bolt of lightning. Creative thinking is hard work. It is a gradual refinement of a product or idea. In this module, we learned that creative thinking constitutes an ability to think differently, an attitude to consider alternate solutions, a process that needs hard work. Let's explore the need for creative thinking. Click on the topic to proceed. In this module, we will use a scenario to understand the need for creative thinking, for new strategies, for new products and processes, for innovation, for diversification. Skilled engineers have been in business for 18 years. Their profits declined in the last 2 years and they lost some long-standing clients. The CEO, Mr. Alex, tried downsizing and introduced 2 new products. It did not help. Mr. Alex needed some creative thinking across the company to get out of the situation. Let us see why he needed to do this. The market situation had changed during the last 18 years. Skilled engineers was not fully equipped to face globalization. Downsizing and re-engineering alone did not help. Skilled engineers had to seek new strategies. The new players in the field had new products and services. Skilled engineers also considered adding to their product profile. This needed analysis of their goals, plans, and available skills. The ability to face competition and meet the challenge prompted Mr. Alex to spend time on creative thinking. Product life cycles are comparatively short. Just adding new products does not help in being market leaders. The new products have to keep up with the market trends. Skilled engineers need to innovate or adapt their product profile to come out of the slump. Another option for skilled engineers is to diversify into a totally new line of products and services. Mr. Alex would need to sit with his staff to think if this is a good option to take or to have a judicious mix of the old and the new. In this module, we analyze the need for creative thinking, for new strategies, for new products and processes, for innovation, for diversification. Now let us take a quiz to assess ourselves on our understanding of the concept of creative thinking and the need for creative thinking. Click on Start to begin. Now let us look at how to encourage creative thinking. Click on the module name to proceed. In this module, we have seen that by encouraging new ideas, empowering people, establishing effective communication, believing in people, having a mission statement, motivating people, and learning from mistakes, we can encourage an environment for creative thinking. After an idea is suggested, allow only positive comments in the initial few minutes. This idea may be the one that solves a problem or the trigger for a new product or service. Give the idea its due and do something with the idea. If it has to be rejected, give a reason for the rejection. Empowerment is delegating responsibilities. It creates a sense of involvement and belonging. It also develops trust. These are basic requirements to encourage creative thinking. The cornerstone of creative thinking is effective communication. The need to exchange ideas is crucial for creative thinking. The need to know and understand what the other is thinking is important. Trust and belief creates self-confidence. A self-confident person is willing to give and share his or her ideas and experiences. The confident individual has the courage to look beyond, crucial to creative thinking. The mission statement of the company should have a set of clear human values, and recognizing those values will encourage the creative potential of the employees. Have the right person for the right job. It creates an interest in what he or she is doing. Creates the right environment to allow employees to explore new ideas. When mistakes are committed, do not make it a forum to pin a scapegoat. Instead, make it a learning experience. Changing strategies quickly is necessary for survival in today's corporate world. In this module, we have seen that by encouraging new ideas, empowering people, establishing effective communication, believing in people, having a mission statement, motivating people, and learning from mistakes, we can encourage an environment for creative thinking. Now it's time for another quiz. Click on Start to begin. Let us now examine the process of creative thinking. Click on the process of creative thinking to proceed. In this module, we will glance at the brain and the role it plays in the process of creative thinking. The different phases of creative thinking and the mindsets required. Some of the rules and roadblocks faced during the process. Before we start going through the various phases of creative thinking, let us take a look at the role of the brain in this activity. The process of creative thinking uses both sides of the human brain. The left side of the brain provides inputs for logical and systematic thinking. The right side of the brain provides the inputs for creative thinking. It has been found that only 10% of the human brain is being used. There is still 90% of untapped potential. Creative thinking is a process that goes through various phases like identifying the problem, setting the goal, generating ideas, evaluation, incubation, and perspiration. These phases do not necessarily follow any specific order. However, the first phase in the creative thinking process is to identify the problem, analyze and understand the problem. Once the problem is identified, it is easy to decide where you want to go. Once a goal is set, all the other phases of creative thinking have a point of reference. The goal should be as clear and specific as possible. Ideas phase. In this phase, you generate a lot of ideas. Inspiration and improvisation are the two most important characteristics of this phase. Duly consider all the ideas that are generated. Implement those that are good and give reasons for rejecting the ideas that are not relevant. Perspiration. This is the most crucial phase of the creative thinking process. Identify the most important ideas that have been generated. Analyze and understand them. Work determinedly on the best ideas that have been generated. Evaluation. Regular assessment of the work done is essential. It helps to know if the work is going in the right direction. It allows one to identify the weak and strong points. This knowledge is necessary to take the decision to continue or change direction. Incubation. The incubation phase is the time-out phase. Once in a way, it is good to get away from the actual or immediate problem. A break from the actual situation refreshes the mind and enables new solutions. Mr. Alex and his team identified their problem as old products, lack of support services, dissatisfied employees. After detailed discussions, Mr. Alex and his managers decided that they wanted to increase their profits by 2.5 times during the current financial year. Having set their goal, skilled engineers got down to working out the details of reaching that goal. The first step was the generation of ideas, suggestions for improvement. Some of the ideas generated were focus on core strength, that is, bottling plants, add servicing and maintenance, introduce labeling and packaging, include commissions and incentives. Of the ideas generated, skilled engineers decided to focus on their core strength, that is, bottling plants, and introduce labeling and packaging of the bottles. Skilled engineers went all out to get more clients for their bottling business, planned to complete all their other activities in a phased manner, started an intense search for good quality label makers and packagers. They also started looking for clients outside the country. They set a deadline of 4 months to complete this first phase of work. While evaluating their work, skilled engineers realized that to be competitive and retain customers, they had to include maintenance and servicing of their products. The process of creative thinking is cyclic. You can start at any point but should continue through all the phases. It will also be necessary to go back and forth between phases. Think ahead and make sure that you are working towards your goal. The process of creative thinking faces certain impediments. They are fears, negative concept of self, perfectionism, environment, skills. Click on each to learn why. In this module, we examine the process of creative thinking, the brain, phases of creative thinking and the mindset required, roadblocks to creative thinking. Let's take the following quiz to assess our understanding so far. Click on Start to begin. Click on Tools to proceed. In this module, we will be looking at a few basic tools both at the individual level and at the team level to help develop the skills of creative thinking. Some of these are affirmation, visualization, journal keeping, brainstorming, and mind mapping. Affirmations are short positive statements to empower oneself. Create affirmations to fit your specific needs. Repeat them several times a day, preferably during periods of relaxation. Repetition helps to register the message in your subconscious and become a part of your personality. Visualization is a tool that works on an individual's level. Visualization is the use of pictures and images to inspire you. The ability to visualize is central to the process of creative thinking. Once you have set your goal, imagine the end product or result. Maintaining a journal is a useful tool for creative thinking. It helps to record your ideas. It helps to keep track of the various phases of creative thinking towards achieving your goals. Mind mapping is an effective tool to creative thinking. It was introduced in the 1970s. Today, it is used by managers to trace the progress of the solution from the problem. In the middle of a page, put down the keywords of the best ideas. Draw branches from the best ideas to the sub-ideas. Go as far as you can or want to with the sub-ideas. Brainstorming is a team activity. It helps to bring together as many ideas as possible. For effective brainstorming, select a team leader who describes the problem to the team. Ask for ideas and record them. Once the team leader feels enough ideas have been generated, evaluate the ideas. Select the most viable ideas using a consensus method. In this module, we looked at the tools to develop creative thinking at the individual level, affirmation, visualization, journal keeping. At the team level, brainstorming and mind mapping. Now let's take a quiz to assess our learning. Choose the correct statement in the quiz that follows. Click on Start to begin. In this program, we have taken you through different aspects of creative thinking in the corporate sector. The first module discussed what is creative thinking. We also discussed the need for creative thinking in the corporate world. In the next module, you learned how to create an environment to encourage creative thinking. The fourth module went through the process of creative thinking and identified the roadblocks to creative thinking. The final module of the program on creative thinking discussed a few basic tools that are helpful to creative thinking. We hope you now know how to expand your thinking creatively. Thank you and goodbye.